A Conservative MP asked one brutal, unavoidable question: should child predators face real prison time? The Liberal Secretary of State refused to answer, hiding behind procedure, points of order, and political spin. As horrific details of abused children were read aloud, Liberals tried to shut it down as out of scope. This wasn't ignorance, it was deliberate evasion. Conservatives pushed for justice. Liberals chose silence. Watch this explosive debate unfold live.
You mentioned earlier a statement I hope is accurate, that everyone in this room is committed to protecting the most vulnerable, and by which obviously in your portfolio it's children. So would that be fair that your portfolio as the Secretary of State for Children and Youth is about the well-being of children and youth in Canada?
Yes.
Okay. That wasn't a trick question. I appreciate your candor on that and giving a simple answer. I'm assuming are aware that a few weeks ago, the Supreme Court of Canada ruled that a mandatory minimum sentence for someone convicted of possessing and sharing child sexual exploitation and abuse material was cruel and unusual punishment, that a mandatory minimum sentence of even just 1 year. Now, the cases that led to this, in one of them, a gentleman from Quebec who had 317 images of children constituting what the court called child pornography. Of those images, 90% were, and I'm quoting the court decision, of young girls between 3 and 6 years of age, some showing victims being subjected to acts of penetration and sodomy committed by adults and minors. The other case involved another man, also from Quebec, who had 531 images, 274 videos of children from 5 to 10 years of age being subjected to sexual abuse, such as fellatio and vaginal and anal penetration by adults. And I do not enjoy reading those words. I know no one in this room enjoys hearing them. Do you believe that a mandatory minimum sentence of 1 year is cruel and unusual punishment?
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, is this within the bounds of the committee and certainly within the Secretary of State's portfolio? I think the member opposite would be
on the same point of order, Mr. Chair. In her very first response, the Secretary of State said her role is...
Mr. Lawton, it is outside of the matter currently before the committee.
Chair,
no, Chair,
point
on
of
that
order,
point,
I'll challenge the chair on that.
Okay. I'm going to spend for 2 minutes. I'm going to spend.
What are you suspending for?
Relevance of what the committee is studying at the moment.
Thank you, Chair. As I understand, this is mandate and priorities, and I appreciated the Secretary of State saying in her first response that the well-being of children and youth are within her purview. So, returning to this, do you believe that it is cruel and unusual punishment to impose a mandatory minimum sentence of 1 year on someone who possesses images or videos of children being sexually abused?
Les prédateurs d'enfants et les délinquants sexuels comptent parmi les criminels les plus...
Child predators and people who abuse children are among the most reprehensible criminals in our society. They should be punished with the full power of the law, and the government has ensured that we have a number of measures in place to protect children. Unfortunately, the Conservatives voted against the act regarding harm online that would have helped us protect children from online predators. They also voted against and actively campaigned against the legal access tools under C2, which would have given children a number of tools that they have been asking for and their protectors have been asking for to protect them from predators. So it is very unfortunate the Conservatives have not supported these measures.
Odd that your Liberal colleagues think this is outside of your mandate, but you had a pre-scripted answer there. I will ask a very simple question. Do you believe it is cruel and unusual punishment to impose a mandatory minimum sentence of 1 year on someone who preys on and re-victimizes children by consuming child sexual exploitation and abuse material? Yes or no?
J'appuie les lois et la législation que notre gouvernement met de devant pour protéger.
I support the legislation and laws that our government has set out to protect children. I encourage all members of Parliament to support this legislation that will protect children, and we will have a chance in the chamber and to discuss this in the weeks to come.
Do you believe that a one-year sentence, which, by the way, in the original cases that I described, that sentence was not even given. One of the offenders was given 90 days of intermittent sentence by the court. And then later on, it was beefed up to a one-year sentence. And this is what the Supreme Court now has said is cruel and unusual punishment. Do you think that these people should be getting house arrest and weekend sentences when they traumatize children?
Monsieur le Président, ça c'est vraiment à l'extérieur de mon mandat.
Mr. Chair, this is really outside my mandate. I am in favor of the legislation that our government is putting forward to protect children online and at school, wherever they may be. But at this point, this is Minister Fraser's purview. He is in charge of moving this forward, and it is up to all MPs to support the work for our children.
Is your view that what happens to children and youth in this country has no bearing on your role so long as the government gives them a sandwich at school?
Mon opinion, c'est qu'on a des lois qui sont présentées.
My opinion is that we have legislation being introduced in the House of Commons, and you will be able to vote in favor of them in the coming weeks. Several elements of legislation, and Minister Fraser will be happy to answer.